Good evening from the RSV Media Center in Belize City. Welcome to the Thursday, July 8th edition of Love TV's Evening News. I am Anju Gidwani.
And good evening, I am Patrick Jones. Belize's national basketball team lives to play another game in the Dominican Republic. That story and more are included on a full rundown today, so let's start with a check of the other stories that are making headlines today.
13 young Belizeans travel to the United States as part of the Youth Ambassadors program.
Maya leaders contemplate the way forward after landmark ruling in the Supreme Court.
And victim of a shooting incident loses the fight for his life.
Details of these stories and more are coming up on the broadcast tonight. But first, here is a word from our sponsors.
Belize's national basketball team has defeated Cuba in the ongoing Central Basket Tournament in Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. Team Belize led the scoring virtually from the start, and at the conclusion of the game, the score was 94 for Belize and 78 for Cuba. We'll hear from the team captain, Milton Palacio, and head coach, Marcus Johnson, shortly.
It was a day for celebration for the 36 Mayan communities on June 28th when Chief Justice Dr. Abdoulaye Conte handed down judgment in their case against the government of Belize regarding customary land rights. The issue of communal land in the Toledo district has been a bone of contention for years. A week and a half after the historic judgment, concerns are being raised about the newly attained sense of security in their land. The Maya Leaders Alliance is preparing for the possibility of another legal battle in court based on an indication that the government of Belize might appeal the judgment. Christina Koch is the spokesperson for the Maya Leaders Alliance.
Well, setting aside the appeal, first of all, people in the Mayan communities, particularly the alcaldes who have brought this case forward, along with their respective communities, certainly realize that the court has affirmed that we have rights to these lands that we use and occupy. And that brings a sense of security and confidence in our way of life and continuing our way of life. And so we're very excited about that. In light of the potential appeal, we also know that this is just another step in the process. We've been struggling as a people for recognition and respect of our rights for over 25 years. And so we knew that change and this kind of resolution doesn't happen overnight. We're prepared, and I think that as a people we've learned that in a social movement things don't happen like you would think they would, and as quickly as you would think they would. And so we know that it's just another step. We're going to go through the Court of Appeals, and certainly we hope that this higher court recognizes and respects our rights again as Mayan people, and this certainly will just give us more confidence and more security. And we hope truly that the government realizes that we need to come to the table to talk and to discuss a way forward and to come to some resolution this issue.
The court also ordered the government to refrain from issuing any leases to lands or resources and concessions for logging, mining, or petroleum exploration without first consulting with the Mayan communities. Furthermore, government was ordered to commence the reconciliation process with the Maya people, devising legislative and administrative measures to protect land tenure practices. Cox says they are hoping for these discussions to materialize and that the ruling indeed be respected by the government.
We've never tried to do anything in isolation of the government. We realize that both parties, the government, the state of Belize, and the Maya people, will have to come to the table and discuss how we move forward. For instance, looking at the concessions that have been granted, what happens? We, as a people, we maintain that these concessions that were granted were never granted in consultation or with the consent of the Mayan communities, and therefore, for us, we believe that it should be null and void. Certainly, this is something that we're going to discuss with the government if and when they decide to come to the table with us. We feel, however, that at this point, we hope that the government will comply with the court's order, which orders the government to cease and desist from granting any further concessions, any further exploration permits, land sales, land grants that might affect the use and enjoyment of our lands as a Maya people without our consent. And so we hope that the government will comply with this. At the very least, this gives us security from June 28th onward. And certainly we heard from the media that the government, or at least the Prime Minister, has said that between the time of the appeal, they're not going to talk about the management of the land, but certainly they're going to respect the orders of the court. And so we certainly hope that they're true to their word, and that they do cease and desist from granting any further concessions. We hope that the relevant agencies, the government agencies like the Lands Department and the Forest Department, that they comply also as an agent of government with the ruling of the court.
That was Christina Koch, the spokesperson for the Maya Leaders Alliance.